WTL. Where's the line? I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
the Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir.
And here we go. We talk college football.
Yep.
Talked a little NFL there.
Yes, sir.
Now we got to finish strong. We got an entire NFL slate here.
Yep.
We're starting bright and early Sunday. We're going to end with Monday night. But let's start with the Giants taking on the Packers.
Yeah.
Woo! I got -8. Packers a huge favorite.
Yeah,
here.
like you said, Andy, 8:30 in the morning, Sunday morning, across the pond over in London.
On NFL Network.
On NFL Network, the Packers a big favorite here at 8 points with a 41 over-under. I'm leaning towards the Packers here, Andy.
Really?
And I know a lot of people probably aren't with me, but
Let's look at the injuries, right?
Yeah.
I mean, New York's got some injuries that
Big
are
time.
stacking up on them right now.
Yeah.
Kenny Golladay, receiver, he's questionable.
Yeah.
Richie James, backup receiver, he's questionable.
Yeah.
Nick Gates, their center, he's out. Daniel Jones, the quarterback,
Yeah.
questionable.
Yeah.
I mean, this does not look good at all for the Giants.
No, exactly, Andy. And I think the Packers, no matter what, would have gave them their biggest test of the season so far. It'll be even tougher for New York to succeed in London in prime time, or if we say in prime time, without Daniel Jones and Taylor are sidelined. I don't see a world where the Giants outplay Aaron Rodgers without their main pieces.
But can't you see a world, even if it's across the pond in Europe, where the Giants could at least keep it within 8.5 points?
Yeah. I guess I can see that, Andy, but I just don't believe that's going to happen. I see this becoming like a 28-10, 28-14 point game, and I really like the Packers to kind of dump it on them.
What are you looking at for an over-under there? I got 40.5.
Yeah, I'm right there. I think most of my scores that I'm predicting is right at 42.
42.
So
wow, so we can shop this one around.
Yeah, so if that's where it is, I'm probably leaning towards the over. The
Packers have only gone over in one of their last 4 games.
Yeah.
They have not performed as far as hitting that over.
A couple divisional games, as and that doesn't spark well for overs, especially playing against the Bears and the Vikings and the Lions for them.
Well, this is kind of wonky too.
This kind of wonky across the pond. I'm just saying that I probably won't bet it, but if I had to, I would probably feel good with it up to 44. I would still go with the over, but my best bet is that the Packers can cover the 8 points.
Ah, man, I like the Packers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win the division again. This line opened up at 6.5. It swelled up to 8, and shoot, it might even go up further.
It could.
We've seen that with NFL lines.
Yeah.
We don't always see that with these lines getting so far out there, but man, that's just kind of what the market has dictated thus far this season.
Yeah.
So, oh man, I like what you're saying. I just don't know if I like how this line is such aggressively gone all the way up to 8. But I have no faith in New York. Don't get me wrong. So if I had a lean, it would definitely be towards the Pack here. Go Pack, go. I'll say reluctantly.
There you go.
All right, so let's move on to the Sunday 12 o'clock kickoff. The Bears heading on up to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Where the Vikings are a full touchdown favorite.
Yeah,
-7.
Like we were just saying there, Andy, these tight-knit division games in the North, you don't really see a lot of lopsided games, Andy. You know what I'm saying?
Chicago can change that.
Yeah, Chicago can change that. I do agree with this line, Andy. I get why it's at 7, and I do like the Minnesota Vikings to win this game, but I think it's going to be by 7. I don't believe that they outstretch Chicago by any means. The last 3.
So you don't like 7.5, maybe, but you like 7.
I would take it at 6.5. I would take it at 6.5, maybe buy a half point down for the Vikings to cover that. The Bears have been holding teams to an average of 18 points per game, holding the Vikings. They're a good defense, Andy, but they cannot score points. And I'm taking the Vikings to score more points against the Bears. I'm looking at a 24-17 game towards the Vikings.
Yeah, I really like the money line bet here. It might not have the value of one, but I think it's pretty well set in stone, or I would call it a lock that Minnesota can win this. Chicago is only 4-11 ATS in the last 16
For
games.
sure.
I mean, it's not looking good for Chicago. You can't win in the NFL if you have a quarterback that can't move the ball through the air. They're not even allowing Fields to throw
They
the
don't
ball.
look downfield.
Well,
they just can't.
Yeah, he doesn't have the weapons. I'm not putting it all on him.
Yeah.
But he's had a couple of the lowest over-unders as far as prop bets.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking under 150 yards passing.
Exactly, and that's unheard of.
I call high school games for a living, and I think out of the last 3 weeks, I've seen just about every quarterback throw for over 150 yards.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a paid professional here that can't
No, exactly. They only let him throw like 15 times a game, Andy.
I know.
On the opposite side, Cousins is going to be pushing 40.
Yeah.
With a good running game.
I love his new offense.
With a good running game. So,
Skol Vikings. They're going to win. They're going to cover. They'll hit the over.
Yeah, I as more I look at this, Andy, I think I'm agreeing with you, and I'll take that. -7 for the Vikings.
I think the Vikings are probably, if I'm being honest, I think the Vikings are probably going to win by 2 scores, not just the one there.
All righty.
All right, let's move on to a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
That is another divisional game
Yeah.
here. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, boy. We got the Ravens as a 3-point favorite at home.
Yeah, and this is a couple teams that's kind of not been who they were promoted to be.
Yeah.
They're both sitting at 2-2, Andy. So both of these guys really want to win. I mean, obviously everybody wants to win every game, but these teams, one of these teams is going to walk out with a losing record and not feel very good about themselves.
Yeah.
After seeing the Ravens now blow 2 winnable games, it's hard for me to pick them here in prime time against Joey B, which seems to be trending upwards. They seem like they're clicking. They got all the receivers back. They look like they're good to go. I understand that they have a better coach, and Lamar Jackson is better than Joe Burrow at certain stuff, at football in general. But
it's just football.
Yeah. In week 2, the Ravens had a massive lead over the Dolphins, and the defense just crumbled.
Wasn't that something?
And I just really think that they're going to crumble again against these wide receivers for the Bengals. Obviously, they have a very good running game with Joe Mixon as well. I just see the Bengals pulling this one out. In the end, the Ravens will keep it close. But I like the +3 points for the Bengals right now. And if I'm getting kind of crazy with it, since I think the Bengals are going to win, they have a +145 money line that I might throw a little cash at just for a little bit of a flavorful one at the end of the Sunday slate.
Love everything you're saying right there. Cincinnati, for all their shortcomings this year, right? And I do believe there's something to the Super Bowl hangover, especially when you lose.
Yes.
Right? That's coming off quite a high, and you're let down there. They are 10-2 ATS regardless of their last 12 games.
Yes.
So they are still putting up numbers. They're still beating the spread. And this is a spot here where, I don't trust the Ravens, even if it is at home, and they're the favorites.
Exactly.
So I think Cincinnati, at the very least, can keep it within that 3. Might get even pushed up to 3.5 if I sit on and wait for a little while here.
Could. Yes, definitely could.
Now, what do you think of that over-under? I found this one to be a little curious here. I'm looking at 48.5 consensus.
Yeah, 48.5, Andy.
70% of the bets are coming in on Baltimore. Or the over, I'm sorry.
On the over, for sure. And that's probably where it should be. These are 2 prolific offenses. Obviously, Lamar and Mark Andrews and all those guys are going to put up points, but the Bengals' defense is probably the best one that they've seen so far. I do like the over, Andy. Okay. I think both these teams score a lot of points. I would put it right there, that threshold of probably 50 is where most people are thinking.
Reality ain't the same if you don't play the game, and I'm so reluctant to go in with the public money or the where the heavy money's getting put in on. That's at the over rate now.
Yeah.
However, from what we've seen, you see why that is the case.
For sure.
So I can't throw too much shade at you on this one. All righty, let's move on to Monday night on ESPN.
Yeah,
that is the Las Vegas Raiders heading on over to Kansas City to take on the 3-1 Chiefs. Oh boy, and would you note the Chiefs are a full touchdown favorite. -7 is what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, Andy, I think this one's right. The Chiefs are obviously the better team here.
Yeah.
Raiders got to win. Kind of a pity win on Sunday, I would call it.
They won.
They won. They're 1-3 now. The Chiefs, I just believe, are really riding high right now and kind of taking everything serious. I saw
they got a wake-up call earlier.
They got a wake-up call early, and I really think Mahomes and Reed have these guys rolling the way they want to. I take Chiefs probably up to 9 in this game. I really think they'll cover the 7 spread, and I really like the over as well in this.
In recent history, it bodes well for your assessment there. Chiefs are 3-1 in the last 5 games against the spread. The totals have also gone over in 2 of the last 4 games.
For sure.
For the Chiefs. And, boy, it does just look like I don't know if you can call it vintage Mahomes, but kind of when he burst onto the scene.
Looks like he's the best player in the NFL again.
Yeah, just play yard, schoolyard stuff.
Yeah.
Where he's just making defenders look silly.
Yep.
No look passes.
Yeah.
Dumping it in the end zone over top of guys, just crazy stuff. And Las Vegas, they had so much hype. So much hype.
Well, the whole division did really.
Yeah.
And 2 of them have been, pretty decent, and then 2 of them have really fell off, with Russell not being up to par and the Raiders really not winning anything yet.
Right. And everyone said, well, the Raiders might be a work in progress, but well, it's a big but so far.
It's a big but.
How about that over-under at 51?
Yeah, I really like the over here, Andy. I think that Kansas City will be pushing 40 by themselves, probably up close to 35-40, and then the Raiders can throw in a chip 17-20 that gets you there.
And Raiders can score. Every once in a while, you're like, wow, this is a great offense.
It is.
And what drives me freaking crazy about the Chiefs is that they'll just give up touchdowns.
Exactly.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Man, they'll get up by 21 points, and then Andy Reid's like, all right, guys, take it easy.
Yeah.
It kills me, and it killed a bet I made a couple of weeks ago.
For sure.
I knew as soon as Kansas City scored and had that insurance touchdown with 3 minutes left, I'm like, they're just going to let the Chargers or whoever it was come.
Yeah, they'll let them score.
And they did. They scored with less than a minute left.
Yep.
I was just, God. So
that's what happens.
I hate that, but when I'm just talking overs, I'm like, yeah, let them score.
Yeah, no, I think the over is going to hit, so I really like that as well.
All right, Jabron.
Yeah.
The parlay pounder. It's time for you to live up to your namesake. Do you got a parlay play for the folks?
I got the NFL 3-team parlay. I am sitting with the Chiefs. I locked it in at 6.5 points. I got the Chargers winning on a money line 135 bet, and I got the Minnesota Vikings rounding this out at a -6.5 bet. Put $25 on that to win 112. You can't beat that odds, and they are locked in.
That's a pretty good odds there, and I like how you got the hook there on the Minnesota Chicago game. If you shop it around, you can probably still get it at that 6.5.
You definitely can.
7. So get out there and do that if you like that play. Well, folks, that'll about do it for us here at WTL Where's the Line? Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and our TikTok channel for weekly picks. YouTube, watch our short videos and feature-length episodes. For Jabron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thanks, folks, for listening. This has been WTL.